What's up, fam? I hope you are having a fabulous day. In this episode, we are talking about homeschooling. So I got to sit down with a few of my friends and we just got to talk about what it's like being homeschooled, some of the funny stereotypes about being homeschooled. This is one of the most fun podcasts I think I've ever shot. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope it maybe gives you an insight into what it's like of being homeschooled. Love y'all. Hope you enjoy.
Okay. Well, thank you all for sitting down and want to talk about being a homeschooler. I know most people don't want to talk about being a homeschooler. But,
Are you kidding?
I wonder why.
here we are.
Anyone who made it out of homeschool doesn't want to talk about being homeschooled.
I know, right?
It's crazy.
It's wild.
Made it.
Yeah, I will say
J-FANN.
the biggest compliment a
Survival
homeschooler can receive is when you ask, like I did about 5 minutes ago, do I give out homeschool vibes? And everyone says no.
Yep. No, that's
the biggest compliment
that's
that
one
you
of
can
the
give a
biggest
homeschooler.
compliments. Oh yeah. I can't. No, growing up, I was the same way. Like you can see homeschool kids, right?
Oh,
And
yeah,
I was
from a
like,
mile away.
oh, and I was always like, no, I don't want to look like that kid. So growing up, I would wear like not homeschool clothes to like
Good for
try
you,
and
man.
fit in.
That makes you look more
I
like
try, bro. I try.
Jeremiah. I didn't know you were homeschooled. Then I walked into church one day and you had Yeezy foams and a big hat on. I was like, I think Jeremiah was probably homeschooled.
He might have some pizzazz.
I think his parents spent a little bit of extra time on that one.
No, what's crazy is my mom for the longest time growing up hated what I wore. She hated it.
Respectfully,
Yeah.
that's probly why you wear it.
She was like, "Can you please wear normal people clothes?" I'm like, "No, mom.
Tracy,
No,
this is
Mom.
who I am. This is real.
This is me." All right, so let's go around and we'll say our names and how long we were homeschooled, if we were in private school or whatever.
That requires math. I didn't learn that.
That's a homeschool kid.
Colin, you start.
Yeah, I'm Colin.
With a K.
With a K, yeah. AULLIN.
Mm.
Very homeschooled. My brother got into a fight at school in like elementary, and after that I wasn't allowed to go to public school. So I've been homeschooled since I was 4 and I'm 21 now. So math, 16, 17 years. Though I did start going when I was 8. I went to a co-op, but it was still just homeschool because like you went there, you were in a class for a little bit, and then you went home and they made you just do everything on your own anyway. So like I say private school with a very loose tongue.
Mm.
Oh, I'm J-FANN. Jonathan Fanning, officially J-FANN
Okay.
to 99% of the people in the world.
Leave him
I was
Only-
homeschooled my entire life. That's all I have to say.
Mm.
and you're
exciting.
pretty, and I love
Oh, thank you.
He's very good looking.
you. He's very good looking in book.
No, no.
Okay. Hey, I'm Madison. I was homeschooled all my
Oh my
life, so
gosh.
kindergarten to senior year. So
I would have never
Slay.
guessed.
yeah, thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. I'm BRAIDEE with 2 E's. Thanks. I was homeschooled from 2nd grade. I was bullied a lot in 2nd grade public school. So my parents were like, we're not going to do that. So
That's
I've been
fucked.
homeschooled. I'm 18 now. I graduated last May. So pretty much my whole life.
I'm Gabriella. I was homeschooled kindergarten through my freshman year. My freshman year, I did play volleyball at like a private Christian school that met in like the portable containers, but I just played volleyball for them. So that was like my freshman year. And then my sophomore and junior year, I went to public school. And then my senior year, I was like quote unquote homeschooled, but I didn't actually do anything. So I kind of was all over the place.
Starburst. I don't know what's going on. Sorry.
And then there's me.
The
I
real
was
Torvald.
homeschooled. Yeah, that guy.
Dopest middle name ever.
It's a
really
family
is. It is a very cool name.
They really, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I learned
Whenever I tell people that name, like Torvald, they always go, "Huh? They're like, how do you spell that?" And I
They're
spell it
on
for
the
them.
Lord of the Rings eagles.
To what?
It is how
Like,
do you
it's
spell
just
it?
how it sounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Torvald. Yeah, Torvald. It's Norwegian.
Oh.
I did not believe your brothers when they told me that was
Yeah.
your middle name. I was like, no, that's
Oh, that's
fake.
right.
That's false.
That's fake, and you're dumb, and you
Yeah.
should stop.
I wondered.
You're a liar.
You're lying to me. Sorry,
No.
go ahead.
But yeah, so I've been homeschooled all the way K through 12. So, yep. I'm
I've never
sorry.
seen the inside of a public school.
Yeah, no, literally, I've never seen the inside of a public school. It's actually kind of sad. No, it's whatever.
I have.
All right.
It's not
We're
that
not going
great.
to talk about that.
First question: what caused your parents to homeschool you?
well,
we can go.
Are we gonna
Whoever wants to go first. It's No. The government.
I'm a jump on that. My dad built bombs in high school and they got arrested. I'm being so dead serious. We lived in California and my dad built bombs in high school and then went to jail. I looked up his public record. It was very surprising. And then my mom was, it's not, okay, hold on guys. And then it's not that crazy. It's just bombs. That's kind of crazy, bro. Well, it was pre 9/11, so he didn't go to jail for life. So,
That's
anyways, I'm so sorry. And then my mom was homeschooled because they moved around a lot because my grandfather was an electrician with GE. He wasn't an electrician, but you get the point. So it was kind of already in the inner workings. And my dad was like, well, let's go try it out for a little bit. And then my brother went and did it. And my dad was like, I don't want him to go to jail when he grows up. So we're just going to homeschool him. And then we ended up going to a co-op, which is somehow worse, but you know, go off, Slay Queen. Yeah. So that's for us at least.
Yeah, are you just gonna call into the mic the whole thing?
I'm sorry, bro. I'm just
Everybody's sitting here listening to you like.
I'm sitting like
up.
I'm gonna have to edit this now. Just kidding.
sorry. Apologies.
Oof,
No, you're good.
tough. Okay, yeah. So my parents decided to homeschool me and my siblings because my dad is a pastor, and so he didn't make bombs. So I can't really relate with
He
Colin.
dropped truth bombs.
Yeah, that's good. Relatability. So, but he was a pastor, and so he worked weekends at the church, and so he had Fridays off. And if we were in public school, we would have never seen my dad. And my mom didn't want that. And my mom was a teacher, like her, I guess, like as a young adult. And so she had like education ability. And so she taught us so that we could have a relationship with our dad and see him.
So much sweeter than what I had going on. I feel dejected now.
It's like, man, my story's not as cool. Dang it.
Dang. I was homeschooled. It was just kind of my parents' decision. They didn't really ask me. They were like, well, you know, public school sucks. You're going to be homeschooled now. I was only in second grade. So, but I was really heavily bullied in second grade. So that's why they were like, you know what? Let's just homeschool her and see if she doesn't get bullied anymore. See if it's, you know, public school that's the
And
issue.
then just
It
your
wasn't.
parents can believe.
You know, bullying happens in homeschool too, not gonna lie. Even if you're not at home. But it was also like what you were saying, like a distrust in the government. My parents were like, we don't want the public school system. Like, we want to spend as much time with our daughter as possible. So they were like, we'll just have her at home and see how that works. So it was decent.
Okay, so I was actually homeschooled because my parents actually felt a calling from the Lord to do so. So my mom had like just graduated college, and then later on had me and my younger brother were like 2 years apart. So just as I was about to enter into kindergarten, she felt a calling to homeschool me and my brother. So that was like the start of homeschooling for me. Yeah.
Nice. Beautiful.
That's a much better story.
I'm so angry right now.
I was homeschooled because I was so similar to Madison. My mom just really felt like she was supposed to homeschool me and my siblings. I have two older brothers and a younger sister. Yeah, I know.
I didn't know you had older. There's
I do.
more of you.
Yeah, well, not.
It's more good look. Oh wait, no,
Not
he's
me.
the better looking. Wait a second.
Yeah,
He is the best.
yeah, actually, I am. Sorry.
I will say it. Better looking.
No, I literally, even my parents are like, you got the best genes from both sides of us. And I was like,
You're wearing
what can I
khakis
say?
though.
Huh?
You're wearing khakis though.
I am. Anyways, my mom really felt like she was supposed to homeschool us. And so she made it to, for my oldest brother, homeschooled him to about 8th grade and was like, yeah, I can't deal with you. Public school. And then he
Get
went
outta
to
here.
private school after a year of public school. And then my older brother, so between me and my oldest brother, also homeschooled, did co-ops and stuff like that. And same thing, like, yeah, I can't handle you. Sent him
You can't do
to junior high, which I mean, Riley said they both were like had really bad anger issues. And then me, homeschooled all the way through, even though I was not, I was not the best student. But I did a lot of co-ops and yeah. And I did started a co-op at like 7th grade, like started taking classes. So my mom was only my actual teacher. do about 6th grade, and then everything else I just went to classes for. And then my last 2 years of high school, I just did all dual credit at Lone Star College.
Smart.
Yeah.
For us, my mom was a teacher. So she went to public school, went to college, became a teacher. How long did she teach for? 5 years.
I thought Tracy was a teacher for like 6 or 7 years.
She taught.
You know their mom better.
Yeah. he's an adopted Thompson. So then she taught for like 5 or 6 years probably. She taught 8th grade. And she grew up, going to school. And then my dad, same thing. He went to public school, and then he went to public school. Then he went to private school, but he would switch schools every few years because his family would. So they're from California, but then like sometimes they would be in California because of his dad's job, or then they'd be back here in Houston for like however long. But I think during high school or middle school or high school, they stayed in Texas. And then kind of the same thing, the y'alls of like my parents, I think more probably heavily for my mom, but of like felt like, hey, like she'd seen the school system, she'd had to deal with kids like that and just how broken everything was, and just stories even from like teachers like not being great influences on their kids. And she was like, yeah, I want to be stay-at-home mom and raise kids and school them. So all 6 of us have been homeschooled. So 3 of us have turned out okay.
Pretty fantastic, if I do say so myself.
Well, yeah. All right, next question. I guess the other one I had was homeschooling already a part of your family, or were your people or your family the first people to like do it? So like example, our family never, like, we were the first people to homeschool, and let's just say we got a lot of not flack, but I think looks about it. So, but it is what it is. But I think now everyone's cool with it. But like before, it was like, huh? Like your kids don't like do normal stuff. It's like
They're gonna walk a goldfish.
Yeah.
I'm 2nd generation homeschooler, I guess, on my mom's side, and then I'm just stretching. And then my dad had never been homeschooled. No one on that side did it, so we were the first from that in, and they didn't really care. But my mom's family was like, "Yeah, go for it, buddy." And then Texas was already becoming like the best homeschool state at that time. I actually met the guy that did it at a conference a couple of years back. He's really sweet. I don't remember his name. He's not that sweet. But, they were just doing a lot of stuff for it in the early 2000s that was like, okay, let's just send it. And my mom was like, well, I already know what I'm doing.
Was it the same thing with you?
No,
First generation?
I'm sorry?
Like you guys were first generation homeschool?
Oh, yeah. My dad grew up like one of the most broken families ever, and fended for himself his whole life. My mom, public school all the way through, and all her siblings, because both her parents worked all the time.
Both my parents, they were in public school. So me and my brother were like the first to be homeschooled in our family. So, and my family, like, they were super cool with it. Like, I think like Jeremiah was saying, it was weird at the time. I think for even friends and the people around you, like to hear about homeschooling was such a foreign concept. It was like, oh, you're homeschooled. Like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? It's like, no, literally, this is just how I'm doing my school. But like now, like I think especially after COVID and everything, online school is so normal, and people don't think twice when you say you do online or homeschool. So
yeah, it was, my dad was like, at the beginning, like, isn't this what mom always says, that he was not for it in the beginning? Because he was like, my dad was like, every homeschooler I was like, this kid's weird.
Yeah,
like my dad was like, I don't want my kids to turn out this way.
Right.
My dad,
I almost feel like I had like a script for whenever someone was like, like, why are you homeschooled? So, I mean, it didn't take but like 1 or 2 years of me in homeschool. I had my answer. I was like, literally, it's
because I'm better than you. Yeah.
Because
I'm
simple answer. I'm just better than you.
Smarter,
You know?
I'm faster, I'm stronger.
I'm smarter. I'm better. I'm homegrown, baby.
I was definitely first generation homeschool. On my mom's side, public school. On my dad's side, public school. He moved around a lot. But no, it was definitely one of those things where like my grandparents were like, so like, she's not going to school. Like, she's just not going to graduate. And my parents were like, no, she's going to school. And I was like, yeah, grandparents, I'm learning stuff. And every single family gathering, like, so are you depressed? Are you lonely? And I was like, I have friends. Not really, but like, I have a few friends, guys. And it was the same thing with my dad. My dad was not for it because he was like, he didn't want me to turn out weird. And I was like, well, I guess I didn't. I don't know. So
guess we'll find out.
Yeah, my family, or me and my siblings, were the first to be homeschooled in my family. I mean, my family does a lot of things different than our like grandparents and aunts and uncles. So I think that I never really noticed if they had said anything about like the fact that we were homeschooled, just because like growing up as a pastor's family, like you're already just kind of living a little bit differently than, you know, most people do. And so I don't remember if like, I mean, definitely no extended family was like weirded out by it. They weren't like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? We just kind of did it. So, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. It was always a deal like that where it would just be like, so like, what do y'all do? It's like, I mean, we just do school. I mean,
People.
what?
There's a script. I was like, you asked that and I was like, oh, there's a script that like pops up into my head. Like, oh, here's what I do and here's why I do it. And it's not all fake.
Yeah, it's
I
like,
feel like I have like a defense.
Oh yeah, no. Cause we've met, were there homeschoolers that y'all knew that were like, yeah, no, you for sure don't do anything worth your time.
100%, dude.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, like you know,
I knew like real hardcore homeschoolers. Like they were smart kids.
oh no, like for what curriculum did y'all use, if you remember, if you had curriculum?
Basis Paideia classical education, baby. Garbage.
Oh.
I mean, great. Not a sponsor. Yeah, man. I worked at that school for a while.
Oh,
It's
really?
crazy. I
I've
met a
never
lot
heard
of.
of
They
that
used
one.
to send auditors, and they would sit down with all the kids, and some of the kids would blow them away and get free college applications, and some of the kids couldn't spell the word brick, and then they
Brick
caused a problem. Now, I've met
Stupid.
many homeschoolers that are just like, "Hey, buddy, are you okay?"
So you don't do school. Yeah. No, that was one of my favorites when people would be like,
Experiential
when
learning.
whenever like I'd be a kid and I'd hear like some of the moms talk and I'd be like, what? That's so stupid. What are you saying? Like, I'm like, ew. Come on.
water.
No, so we used a Becca.
Becca,
Oh,
yes.
Yep.
That's
So we
a
did the
solid-
online with the videos. Well, no, we only did the videos in high school. Yeah, because at the time, then we had our younger siblings who,
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah. So she's like, go do videos. I don't know if that helped me or hurt me. Did you do?
Yeah, I did a Becca for the majority of like my schooling, and it was awesome. I mean, Christian based, so it's
Yeah.
like not having to worry about any of that. But I also did for a while, like we stepped away from that and did Connections Academy, which was like online public school, and it was very interesting because we took state testing, like tax test and STAR test, so which was so stressful. But like,
I never took any of those.
Oh my God,
I
yeah.
literally never taken the SAT, ACT.
Paces.
well,
one
I
of us
didn't
too, but I
either,
never did
but
it.
yeah, no, it wasn't even. They were like, we don't call it like homeschool; it's public school online. But
It's
yeah,
not
we
actually
kind of like
public school.
hopped back and forth because there were some things in Abeka like math, like algebra, geometry. That was really not my strength, and I feel like sometimes
It's no
for me
one's
with
strength.
Abeka, it was
No
like
It's
there was
no one's
just
strength.
a gap. I don't know, like needed something like a different curriculum. But yeah, Abeka for the majority of the time, and then a little bit of Connections Academy. So
Nice.
Which was anyone else on their curriculum? Or no, everyone said that. Gabby,
I
what did
don't
y'all
know.
do for
I
curriculum?
had a textbook for math. And my mom was basically like, "Here, read this. Teach yourself." No,
So
I
did
was-
you have a curriculum? Or
Did
were
you
Yeah,
just
no,
like
I
teacher?
I was really like I hated school, so I'd always get mad when I had to
Yeah,
do
man.
it. So there was a
Mhm.
point when my mom was just like, she was just like, "Hey, just read this, and then we'll go over like afterwards." But I had like a like Saxon math, some
Saxon.
online thing for science, and then another like textbook for grammar and stuff like that. And then I just went to 2 classes at like 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, mine was pretty similar. My mom, I actually until just now didn't know that like there was curriculum that included like everything.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Because my mom did her own curriculum. So we did Saxon math, but my mom was an algebra teacher like before she homeschooled us. And so like all of us I have 3 siblings, and all of us, at least me and my older brother, our younger 2 are in public school. Well, all over the place. But me and my older brother are pretty gifted with like the math stuff because that was like what my mom taught. So like we were really strong in like algebra, and when I went to public school, like I did really well in all my math classes. English we weren't as strong on because we really didn't do like a ton of English. Like my freshman year we did like a video program that I loved and I learned a lot. But before that, we didn't do a ton. I mean, we did writing and stuff, but nothing crazy for English. But like, I love writing now. And then we just had like, we went through several different like history books of like that had curriculum for each year, but we just kind of hopped back and forth between whatever. So we had different like historical books that we would read, fiction and nonfiction, just all of it. And then we would just like do narrations back to my mom of like either record yourself or do a written narration of just like, okay, what did you learn about in your reading? So it wasn't really like curriculum that had like quizzes and tests besides our math. Math, I guess we just took really seriously, and the rest of it was just like, read this book and let's process together what you learned. And so we really just learned how to teach ourselves. But my mom really did like hands-on teach all of us. So yeah, but we didn't have like a curriculum or anything.
Yeah, that was
besides
one
what she made.
That was one thing that people, even us, but then like when people would be like, so homeschooled, is it like all one curriculum or is it like multiple curriculums? So we grew up, I mean, with Becca, it was like, no, you had your math, you had your science, you had your like, it was already planned out. So it was perfect for us because you didn't have to like sit there and be like, all right, I'm going to do this math or this math. It just made it easy.
My school didn't get math until I was in 10th grade.
What?
Dang.
Yeah, Basis was behind. My school didn't have math like in their curriculum. Like you had to go to Khan Academy and figure it out.
So we went to the same school, like the same co-op, and we did the same curriculum. And I'll be honest, I had to get one of those Algebra for Dummies books from the library.
Yeah, man.
Dang.
And
They teach you a lot.
before I graduated, I was like, I guess I gotta learn this.
I guess I kind
I never learned it. I don't number good.
No.
But no, I took.
I don't need algebra.
No, I was like, I'm never gonna use this. Like, what am I gonna do with it? But no, we used the same curriculum. It was like Paces by Day and then classical conversations. But other than that, like
Oh yeah,
a
classical
lot of
conversations.
it. Yeah, we went to the same
Easy.
co-op for a while too, and then we went to the same school. But a lot of it was just
Yeah, we missed each other by like 4 years though.
yeah, by 4 years.
Yeah.
A
Just a
lot of
little
it
bit,
was
yeah.
very much like busy work, like color in this map, and I
Dude,
was
I
like, I'm
colored
not
so
gonna
much
do
stuff in
that.
Yeah.
I love coloring.
It
That's what I
really
felt
was,
like. I was
bro.
like, I'm a
kinda.
kindergartner right now.
It's like, hey,
oh.
do you think I'm stupid? What's going
I colored the map
felt
of
stupid. I was like,
Polynesia
dang.
over like 107 times.
on?
My mom, like, if she was like worried about me turning stuff in, or I was like, I just want to work on this paper, I don't even want to have to color the map. My mom would be like, I'll color it, and I'd be like, okay, take it,
Thanks, Mom.
What?
thanks.
What was least favorite subject?
Freaking math, bro.
Math.
Math is stupid.
By far. It was,
No, it was okay. When I say that, let me rephrase. It's not math. Simple math, fractions,
yeah,
percentages,
that's
like
fine.
multiplication, all
I
that
can do
stuff.
that.
Anything past numbers. If you
Past
throw
algebra?
letters in there,
Stupid.
stupid. You know what I haven't
Stupid.
used in 4 years?
The Pythagorean
Anything
theorem.
that has to do
Freaking
with
geometry.
any kind.
Never used it.
Yes. I've never used algebra or geometry once in my entire life for any real life situation.
Unless you're in a trade that uses it.
Okay, whatever.
There's
I'm
no point
23. Still, I've worked several different jobs. Like I've never needed algebra
Yep.
for anything. And
You can
anyone that I
add,
know,
multiply,
no
divide.
one I know has ever
Set.
used algebra for like real life application. And the
Nah,
only like
they're
reason you need it is
capping.
if you're gonna be an engineer or scientist.
Nah, I think they're
You know,
capping
at this
even on
point, I
that.
think scientists just make everything up.
Yep, at this point.
My least favorite subject was science because
Oh, yeah.
anytime
Yeah.
okay, my mom was pretty good about like keeping us from books that was like the Big Bang Theory, but like I would get so defensive if I was reading a book and anything like that I was like, that's saying that something besides God isn't or like is God. And I would get really, so I just hated science because I just felt
Yeah.
on edge. Even as like
Yeah.
a 12-year-old, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm on edge. Like, is there like, is this truth? Is it not? So it kind of
Mhm.
stressed me out. I just
Yeah, also pretty much
and I
every
didn't get it.
homeschoolers, all homeschoolers are Christians. Or
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah,
Christian.
that is true.
Well, and we
Or
didn't
have
get
Christian
to do
families.
labs or anything like that. my freshman year, I did do a biology co-op because my mom was like, I don't know how to do biology with you. And like, you can't do, like, she was like, we're not getting like a frog shipped to our house. So you get to go to a co-op. I dissected
a frog and I dissected a worm.
I did too. I was like, wow,
stupid.
This is what real school is like.
I was like, why do I need to know what the inside of a worm looks like?
Why do I need to
know what the inside of a frog looks like? You know what I've never done?
We did a crawfish.
Never thought about what the inside of a frog is ever.
It smelled horrible. I was there for that class.
I wrote everything down. I was like, I'm not touching that because I'm allergic to crawfish. So I was like, I can't do this. Like, I'll die.
I think
only if I ingest it. No, my least favorite subject was Latin. By far.
Our school was fancy. We had Latin and rhetoric. Leave us alone.
I will say we did. How many years did we do Latin?
Bottom bought us bunt, cuh.
I did 2 years of Latin. Oh, that's horrible.
How long?
I just did 2. No, okay, that's whatever. I just BS.
And let me ask you, do you remember
There's
any
no
of
way
it?
it was 1st through 6th.
Jeremiah,
do you
spit
remember
a
any
bad
of it?
Latin verse real quick.
I don't know any.
Like it sounds kind of like the Latin. Like
You're like, is it? So you don't remember anything?
Oh
Basically.
no. So we were in.
If you hear a word that you've never heard before,
Mhm.
you hear like some of those like little sounds in there that you remember from Latin.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, maybe that's kind of what that word means. But other than that,
My mom made me take it because she thought I was going to be some sort of like veterinarian or scientist. Her standards were high, and I was like, set that bar lower.
You're gonna be
But
a
no,
lawyer.
I took like
Let's drop
3
that
years
one
of
down.
Latin. Absolutely hated it. It sucked
No,
real bad.
we did Latin for, I don't know. It had to have been most of
Mhm.
middle school. Maybe not middle school. Most of elementary. We did Latin. We did Spanish. We did like piano lessons. We did music lessons.
So you're one of those.
Did y'all do
I-
flute? I feel
No.
like really.
Yeah.
I was homeschooled. They made me do the flute.
Yeah.
Oh, so your
Latin,
parents
waste of
tried.
time. Oh no, we tried. Like, we did Latin. I was like, I hated it. I hated every second. I was like,
Latin
this
was
is
hard,
such
bro.
a waste. And my mom thought, oh, it'd be good. You know, you learn like the different languages. And I'd be like, Mom, it freaking died off. No one cares.
I
Like,
asked my mom when she put me in Latin. When
you
my
know,
mom-
you know what? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I asked my
My
mom. I was like, "Did you
mom-
take Latin?" No, go ahead,
My
Jake.
mom teaches Latin. I'm sorry.
Are you
Colin.
serious?
She's been a Latin teacher at a private classical school for 6 years.
Are you kidding me?
Dead serious.
Oh my
But
gosh.
she started there after like I wasn't even home. I'm sorry, bro. I just cut you off. My
It's
bad.
so funny. Where does your mom teach?
At Providence, which is where my little sister.
Providence.
Dude, Providence.
Those kids scare me.
I had kids in my like graduating or like growing up. Those kids are so smart. I'm like,
They're freaking geniuses.
I felt
Yeah.
I felt so stupid being
Yeah.
around. One of the guys
Yeah.
was in my
yeah.
small group here at church, and I was like, I feel super stupid.
Yeah, so they like are super advanced, and for one of their core things is you do Latin every year that you're there, even all the way through high school.
I don't.
Is
get
you just
that. I
learn
really
more in
don't.
depth Latin. So my mom's been an elementary Latin teacher there for like 6 years, and my sister went there, and my sister is one of the smartest human beings I've ever met. And they had her start. She would have gone in as a sophomore, but she had to start as a freshman, so she wouldn't be like super behind or like trying to catch up. And so my mom thinks Latin is the greatest thing in the world, and I'm just like, it's whatever. What's going on?
I'm sorry. Part of my tooth just fell out of my
Oh
mouth.
no! Oh my gosh!
I have it in my hand.
I love how supportive
It's
of
the
her friend
second part
Gabby
that's
is.
chipped today. So that's why I ran. I was like, what is that coming out of my mouth? I was like, it's probably just a popcorn kernel or something.
Oh no!
Nah, it was my tooth.
This is the most entertaining podcast. we've
Yeah,
ever
by
had.
far, for sure. Next question.
Next question. What was your favorite? Wow.
Gotta be.
I was homeschooled, guys. What was your favorite subject in school?
Gotta be culturative history, bro. Like social studies in regular school, we called it culturative history because you had to look at the whole part of it, and that went hard because we got to do debates and stuff. You were allowed to berate
Ooh.
other kids and then claim that it was historically accurate.
You were able to yell at them.
There was a whole week where they let us use like time period accurate curse words to insult other students. It was a really stupid idea. That teacher got fired. It was a really
Get out of here.
dumb idea because we like ran around school all day and it was like, you Vatum. It's like, nah, that's really bad word still. It's just
You can't say
Vatum
that.
sounds funny. But yeah, culture of history, 100% dog.
That's funny.
Went hard.
J-FANN?
Lord no.
Not
I
math.
would, huh? Yeah, it is. I would say probably I would
Listen,
say
I hate it. When I say I hated math, I hated math. Like
I
it
would
was-
say actually like
Yeah.
English and writing, because I really enjoy my whole like kind of perspective is what is most valuable to me is something that like makes me better and then I will use.
Mhm.
And I haven't used anything but like grammar and literature, and so I took a lot of college classes for writing and literature and grammar, so that was my favorite.
Mhm.
I'd say the same, like English and writing. Like I always did
Yeah.
like really well in it. And I was top of my class. So
Hey, I was too. I'm
No,
just
but
kidding.
it
your
was
brother
my
got
favorite.
homeschooled.
I wasn't.
what?
Oh, how much older is your brother than you, Madison?
He's younger. We're like
Oh.
2 years apart.
your
But he wasn't
class.
in my class, so that made me the
Oh,
top.
okay. I was gonna say get
Top
Mason.
10%.
Idiot.
Top 10%. Yep. Yeah. English writing. That was like my favorite.
I definitely say mine was probably science. I had a really, really awesome science teacher. Her name was Miss Hagler. I miss her so
Rest in
much.
peace.
Yes, she actually,
Rip. She is
not
unironically
funny.
dead.
She actually did pass away. That's completely serious. That's why I said I miss her. She was really, really cool. She made these like math, like her own DIY math, like scrapbooks almost for each like workbook or work piece we were doing that week. She was absolutely amazing. I remember one day my mom came home and like TMI, but she was a little bit tipsy. And she came home and she cried because she saw my workbook and I had been working on my science workbook. She went, "Oh my gosh, you've been working on your science workbook."
She
and
was
I
an
was
angel.
like, "Thanks, Mom." Like unironically, that teacher was her favorite too. Like Miss Hagley was absolutely the best. Yeah, science for sure.
Mhm.
I would say either math or art because my mom was really good at teaching math and my dad was an art major. So I think it probably has to do with like the relational aspect of it is like all of the other subjects we kind of did like a book on our own and then we would just like discuss it with our mom. But like math was like very hands-on, her teaching us. Art was very hands-on, my dad teaching us. And then even once I got to public school, then math was my favorite because it was the one I was best at. And art was my like tandem favorite because it's just creative and fun and not really like as intensified learning as like the other classes. It's just like you get to create whatever you want. So
Can't get a bad grade for art.
Oh, you definitely can.
I mean, you could.
No, you can't. No, you actually can't. My sister, she's in public school right now and she had her art final. She switched high schools finals week
Mhm.
and she had her art final and the teacher was like, I'll just have you do it. But she was like, but I don't know if I'm going to actually like put your grade in the book, whatever. So her name's Ellie. She does this drawing. It's Western art. And she does a drawing of like cacti. And she showed it to me. She was like, my teacher laughed at me and she showed it to me. And I'm like, oh, this looks like a 5-year-old drew. And she goes, I got a 98. I was like, oh my gosh. So
art is subjective.
Yeah, no, you really
Art is
cannot
a
get a bad grade in
joke.
art.
Dude,
Let me say it again. Art is a joke.
Depends on
hate
what kind of art.
because I
Art
can
is
do
not
it.
a joke. That sounds like a.
I'm joking. Okay. Well, no, I will say if someone makes a random sculpture that's a blob and calls it art, that's a joke.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think you need to train your eyes.
Yeah, J-FANN, figure it
all-
out.
Don't tell me I need some shift in
Beauty-
perspective to look at a
Beauty
piece of
is-
marble
what
and
is
say,
the line?
wow,
Beauty is in the
I
eye
really
of the beholder."
appreciate this block of stone. It's so artistic.
It's like
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
That is true.
Maybe you could argue though that objectively, whoever is calling a hunk of rocks a beautiful artistic statement, maybe they need their cognitive function checked rather than
Oh
going,
my
man, this is a
God.
beautiful piece of rock.
I feel like J-FANN in
They're
a
lines,
museum, like an
bro.
art museum, would be really. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's been hurt.
It might just be entertaining for y'all.
He's just walking around in our museum going, "You're stupid."
I do appreciate actual art, like
Yes.
paintings
Okay,
and
but-
drawings and things like that.
Impressionism. I love art.
Jesus made the mark.
Yeah, J-FANN
Yeah,
walks around.
Jesus made the
stupid.
marble. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Girl, I'm already there.
My
No, I do
favorite-
appreciate art though, but
Yeah, no,
not
I'm-
abstract art.
I love it. Yeah. Abstract art, it depends. Like Picasso, interesting. Thomas Kincaid,
Thomas Kincaid goes hard though.
It is.
freaking is
So then you
amazing.
need to figure it out, Jay.
If you've never seen Thomas Kincaid art, go look it up. It's fantastic. Wait, what did you
She's
say?
going through the receipts.
Oh, he draws Peter Pan. Okay. My favorite subject was probably history,
Yeah, buddy.
and then next one was probably
Mine was history until I had the realization that history is written by one side, and so most of
that
history
is
is
very
actually
true.
not really true.
I've learned that a lot over these past few years of like, oh wait a second, he who
went the winner.
yeah
He who
whoever,
wears the
whoever
crown,
gets
he
to
winner.
yeah whoever is the prevailing side, they get to write the history.
Our school made us
Yeah.
read both sides. Like when we were reading about what's that thing that happened in 1940? World War II. When we were reading,
I was just about to say.
I'm sorry.
World War
I'm sorry.
II.
When we were reading World War II about like when we were
Homeschooling,
reading
yeah.
about it, they made us read like German history books and they made us read the Japanese history
Honestly,
books.
that would be really interesting.
Yeah.
It went hard.
so much to learn.
Yeah, there's so much history that's like not talked about or told.
Except the
Yeah.
Bible. The Bible's the only history.
Bible goes hard on
The Bible
God, no
is
cap.
Bible's a
Shit.
slave for real.
Bible's
Period.
what?
Her.
This whole podcast makes me want to like.
Next question.
Next question.
What you got, Jeremiah?
All right, now let's go to one of the ones that some of our fellow young adults submitted.
Lauren. Just Lauren.
Literally Lauren. Like, she did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
She did
6
several.
questions. Six
Can we
questions.
appreciate
really wanted
Lauren?
to
real quick? I love
yeah.
that woman.
Great job, Lauren.
Lauren. Woo!
Nothing on her. Thanks, Lauren. Good job, buddy.
Thanks, Lauren. All right, first
Play for
question from Lauren. What did you wear to school? Did you go to one house with other kids from other houses? We'll start with the first one. What did you wear to school? Sleep clothes, baby. Whatever I
wore-
wanted.
Khakis and a button-down shirt.
Actually, that's not
I
true.
was not allowed to wear PJs. And that was like one of the things that people would ask me. Like one of the assumptions, you know how people come up to you and they find out you're homeschooling and they're like, oh, so you just did nothing and you wore your PJs all day. And I would get so defensive because my mom was very adamant. We would not wear our PJs. We had to wake up at 8 or eat breakfast at 8 every morning. And which is like later than public school, but still, I mean, we were done with our school by like noon.
Yep.
But we were not allowed to wear PJs. We got up and you changed into your clothes. We probably just did like t-shirts and shorts or jeans and t-shirts because we played outside a lot. But we were not allowed to wear our sleeping clothes all day.
Yep.
Dang, my experience was different. My parents were like, wake up whatever time you want. I mean, they wanted me to wake up earlier. I just didn't. And yeah, I wore pajamas a lot. I'd literally be in like a big t-shirt and some shorts, just like in bed doing my schoolwork. Like I didn't do it at a desk. I had one of those like little writing desks for my bed. And then for like going over to kids' houses, like I guess I did a few study groups for my homeschool co-op that I was at for a while. But like for the homeschool co-op, it was like 2 days a week and you were in like a classroom where the teacher just explained what you were supposed to do when you got home. Like it was literally just kind of like guidance so that you don't not do your schoolwork.
It sounded like a waste of time.
It was really stupid.
It really was a waste of time, I'll be honest.
Yeah, that's why we didn't do co-ops.
I didn't do co-ops. It was like, I mean, I had other like social thing. I mean, unless it was purposefully like for like getting socialization, I really like didn't need the extra stuff because I had other stuff going on. But yeah, for me, it depended. Like sometimes I'd roll out of bed and start school right away, or I'd like feel myself and get dressed in an outfit. I don't know. I got bored. But no, I was kind of weird. I don't know if this is weird. I would wake up at like 6 a.m. This is like 2nd, 3rd grade. I would just like literally I wanted to get it over and done with in the best way possible. Like if I could be done by like 11 o'clock noon, I'd be fine. Now my brother, the complete opposite. Like he'd roll out of bed at like 8 and I'd be like, I'm like halfway done with school. Like, sorry. But yeah, no, usually it was just pajamas or, you know, an outfit, whatever.
Yeah, we had like a list. My mom did checklists for like our chores, but then also our schoolwork.
Yep.
Homeschooled. But so every subject that I finished for that day, like I would check it off. And so I would also wake up, like we had breakfast at 8 and then there were things that we had to do with my mom. So like I couldn't, do them on my own, but I would wake up early and like get all my schoolwork done and then come to breakfast and be like, I'm done with my schoolwork. All I have to do is narrations with mom and math with mom. And then I would do that.
Dang.
And like 45 minutes later, I'd be like, great, now I get to be bored for more hours. Like I don't know what I thought I was doing getting ahead there. Like there wasn't anything to get ahead to. But I thought I was really killing it. But I did the same thing. I
Really killing it.
was like waking up at 6, 7 a.m. so that I could get all my work done
Oh yeah.
for no reason.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah.
Literally.
I would wake up at like 8 or 9.
That's
Thanks.
still
reasonable.
that some homeschoolers
normal.
wake up at like 12.
Yeah,
So-
that's true.
yeah.
But it was
That's
like,
the fake ones.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
no, I pretty.
5 months later, it was like 2 o'clock.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my gosh. How?
Oh my gosh.
Anyways,
Go ahead, J-FANN. I'm listening.
No, it was pretty much just up to us what we wanted to wear, me and my sister. So I was just like wear shorts and t-shirts. To classes though, all of our classes did like have a dress code, which was like, literally some kind of khaki pants or khaki shorts and then some kind of collared shirt. So
Yeah.
No,
For us, we had like, there was a while there where we were literally supposed to get up at, so my dad, he's very early riser. So he will
I
get
got
up
that
to,
vibe.
like, he will get up like 3 o'clock in the morning.
A man wrong.
That's- He gets
Ooh.
up, he's up and he's rolling. Like, he literally gets work done before, I mean, he runs circles around people. It's not even funny. But he would be like, how it was what, 5 o'clock? 5:30. You had to be up by
Whoa.
5:30. Yeah. And it was no PJ, that like no PJs, no having blankets at your desk. Like, it was like, no, he said, no, this was the example he'd always give. He'd be like, in big boy world, you don't get to go to work in your PJs and a blanket.
My dad used to say, if you're gonna be an
Go
adult, you
on.
can't go to school
Yeah.
like this. You have to work, and he would make me sit outside for 2 hours if I tried to. Dang. He would make me sit outside and like sit in the grass and do schoolwork. I'm like, I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
I thought we were talking about homeschooling.
It's the military.
Why does my life suck compared to you guys? I thought my childhood was fine.
Oh my god.
No, people would ask me that. They would be like, but not about homeschooling, but about being a pastor's kid. But they kind of fall, like when you're a pastor's kid and a homeschooler, you just kind of get all the
You get all the
backlash, I guess.
flack.
But people would ask, like, do you wake up at 5 a.m. every day to read like the whole Bible or whatever? I'd be like, no, y'all are crazy. I didn't know that people actually woke up at 5:30 a.m.
Yeah, no, we were.
some of
yeah.
us wake up earlier than that for
Well,
jobs.
that's your choice. That's your choice now.
Yeah.
It's not my choice.
Yeah.
Bills are not an option.
I know, right? No. Yeah.
I think my dad's favorite blanket. You think I'll let my employees come in?
Oh yeah, no, that
Oh,
was
dude,
that was
that's
that was a
crazy.
favorite one. You think I let my employees come in with their blanket and
Dang.
I was like, no.
No, I don't.
My dad would always hit us in a mechanic shop when you're turning wrenches. You're on time or you're losing your job. He's chilled out. He works at home now. Now he's the one in the PJs and stuff. I'm like, yeah, buddy, what are you
Nice.
What are you doing, Dad? No, that's
doing? He
phenomenal.
switched career fields. I should
That's phenomenal. Another question. When, why, and how did your family decide to do a co-op? Now, wait, I wasn't in a co-op. You
I
were.
was in a co-op. I'm pretty.
Oh.
So kind of quirky. She's my girlfriend now, but technically I taught 1 or 2 of her classes. I was not 18.
He was like an assistant.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't actually a teacher.
Like the
but
mom
you say
would
that
get-
every time and it sounds so
Yeah.
not correct.
Because all of our teachers were moms, basically. Like we had 1 or 2 male
See,
teachers.
that's the face I get every time.
Get some men in
That's
there.
the face
So
I
when
get.
I say teacher, what I mean is person who went through a slideshow and told you how to study Macedonia. So
No, he would normally just play Mario Kart
Macedonia.
in class. That's
dude.
a full lie.
If I was teaching a class, I'm not getting paid. I'm not licensed by the state. We're playing Mario Kart and we're
This is-
watching videos.
This
Like,
is
what are you
illegal.
talking about? Bro, I used to tell kids to shut up in class. Either one of them, Joe Fruworth and Lance Cartwright. I taught
Lance
both of them.
Cartwright, bro.
Yeah, I taught him.
The
I've known that
man,
kid
the
for a
myth,
long
the
time.
legend.
But we were in a history class and they're starting to say something stupid. And I said, hey, kid, shut up. And he's like, you can't tell me to do that. So what are you going to do? Call the cops? I'm not licensed by the state. I'm not breaking any laws. No one's going to believe you, you dumb kid. That's pretty much what co-ops are like.
Boom.
Is
roasted.
like,
Not
I
mine.
think
like
that's-
I'm
I think that
gonna
was your
teach to you.
experience.
I'm gonna teach to you. I'm gonna teach to you however I want. And if you think it's wrong, shut up. No one's gonna believe you. And then it's just kind of like,
funny.
I think my parents were basically just like, my mom was tired of being at home with me. She was like, I can't deal with this anymore. Let me just send you to a co-op. And it first started with classical conversations, and that was fine. And it was okay. It wasn't my favorite. Like there weren't any uniforms or anything. And then with Pace Paideia, there were uniforms.
they were fine. They
killed
were
me.
comfortable.
Comfortable for you.
I fell asleep in one the
Comfortable
night
for
before.
you.
So
I had to wear skirts. No, absolutely
terrible.
not.
I would've been
And the
down to wear
girls
a
still
skirt.
technically had to wear belts, and we had to wear ties. ties were required for the longest time. I was like, I don't know how to tie a tie. I had to buy those clip-on ties that are for
Yeah,
toddlers.
clip-on
I was,
ties.
I was a bow
Um,
tie kid for 3.5 years at that school.
Clip-on
But-
ties will save your life. Save your life.
No, co-ops were not like the worst, but they weren't the best either. Like it was basically just like a mini public school, but they were like, no, you're still homeschooled. So
It was really just to be more social was the only reason you should go to face by day. And they made us stand
Yeah.
up in front of the school and do presentations too. That's another thing, I guess. But other than that, there's like
It feels like there's this weird thing about like this over socialization or trying to get homeschoolers to be social, which is really
Mhm.
weird because I'm like, if you even go to like public schools, like there's still kids who are in public and they're still
Not
just as
social.
awkward.
If anything,
Or
it's
even,
worse
or even
for 'em.
more.
Yeah.
Like it's really weird that stereotype is put on
Just-
homeschoolers. I'm like, turn around and like look in your own school, bro.
Look at
like,
yourself.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
100%. I agree.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Did y'all feel like your social skills growing up, did you feel like they were lacking or did you feel like they were where they should have been?
So if anyone says that they weren't lacking, you're a liar, and you should repent.
Well, I'm gonna have to repent then, because my brother, there's an interesting piece of child psychology that whenever a child is born, they adapt a certain personality from their nurturing and then also their inherent. And when another child is born, your ears are active 24 hours, like fully after you come out of the womb when you're birthed. Sorry, I had to think about it. I'm homeschooled. And so there's this
whenever they
idea
are.
that you adapt to, especially if they're a couple years older than you and can speak, you figure out what their personality is and you do the opposite of that. My brother is the yin to my yang. So I was social from the get-go. And then my dad got me into online gaming and scripting from a really young age. So I would talk to anybody and anybody about anything. And I no longer can shut up. So I think
period.
I have and like being social.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, it's a problem that I am social versus being not
The
antisocial.
opposite.
Antisocial. Yeah, never had a problem.
Sorry, Colin.
It's okay, J-FANN. No, it's cool.
That's cool.
I get how it is.
I'll definitely say like being homeschooled, even now, I definitely lead more to the antisocial side. Like I'll be like, okay, my social battery's out. I'm done. But I was definitely lacking socially, very much so. Like to the point because I was so heavily bullied in second grade and also at homeschool co-ops. That's the one thing that parents are always afraid of. They're like, oh, I'm going to send you to a homeschool co-op. You won't be bullied. No.
Homeschool
No,
kids are
I
mean.
people-
broke that stereotype.
People are still people.
I know. Everybody, it's kind of like, I want to say it's worse. It's not worse, but it is worse.
Yeah.
So that definitely, on top of my lack of social skills, going to a homeschool co-op and then being able to display my lack of social skills, like it did not help. But I don't think my lack of social skills was due to like necessarily being homeschooled. I think it's just any kid growing up has a lack, especially like even if you're in public school, you're gonna have a lack.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like it was fine. I don't feel like it hindered me in any way, other than the fact that I'm really introverted now. Are you taking a nap, J-FANN?
No.
You're also really breathing heavily in that microphone.
All
I'm
right.
like,
I'm back
I think probably for me, I honestly would say it might have helped my social skills because, and I had 3 siblings, so it's not like I was ever alone. So I had 3 siblings and I still was involved in church, like children's ministry and youth groups. And now like that was all like really hard for me growing up. But like I feel like I learned how to have like really intentional relationship with like my siblings and my parents. And so like now like I might seem introverted in some scenarios or situations, but I wouldn't say like socially lacking. I would say like I have more of an eye for like a real intentional connection with someone rather than just like I think the stereotype is that like you don't connect with enough people and so therefore you don't know how to connect, but really like at least what I learned and growing up in a spiritual household like helps with that too. But what I learned is like that I lost my train of thought. Oh no. I just learned how to have like really intentional relationship and connection rather than needing a lot of surface level connections. So yeah. And so, yeah, I just gained like real relationship with people.
I will say it was definitely different for me because I'm an only child. So like I don't have any siblings. It made me a lot more introverted like in that sense. So like I feel like a lot of homeschoolers are introverted because they choose to be, like you were saying, kind of like you want to have more intimate connections. But I was just introverted because I didn't have anybody else to talk to. Which, it's whatever. But
Yeah. I don't feel like I ever went through any awkward spots. Like I feel like now I'm pretty well socialized, but also that's like what I do for a living. I like talk to people all day. But growing up, like I was like heavily involved in church, like kids ministries, like high school, like youth group and all that stuff. And also did like I was in a lot of sports. Like I did club volleyball, so I was always traveling around for that. So I was like always like surrounded by people, which was great. And I thank my parents for my mom homeschooled us, but I think both of my parents for raising me and my brother the way that they did, because they were like very intentional on teaching us just on how to be social and like, you know, what to do, what not to do, like basic manners. So I just thank them for that, because that definitely like I think was the biggest impact outside of being involved in like church and sports and all that. So no, like no social cues, no reading the room. And yeah, I think it's like, it is like, I don't know. I'd say like, I don't know. It's split between like how you grew up and how you're raised. And like, it is like it's a decision you make. It's like a conscious decision.
Yeah.
Cause I don't know, you can push yourself no matter how uncomfortable you are with being social. You can like, you know, try and step out of that bubble. But I think it's like a split thing of like, okay, how you're raised and like your conscious decision on how to do it, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, so I was the most stereotypical homeschooler you probably would have ever met. But a bigger part that played into that, because I went to classes and stuff like that, which did actually help, like being able to pick up on social cues and things like that. But more so the reason, like I was really awkward, like so shy, like insanely shy. Like if a girl talks to me, I don't know what to do. Like I got no idea what to do. I was like, why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
And even like just anyone that like tried to be my friend, I was like, why are you talking to me? And not even like more than anything, it was just like I just didn't have any worth or value, and I didn't know I had worth or value, and was depressed and all that. And being homeschooled didn't super help that, I will say. But I do really believe if I had been public schooled, I would have been bullied to the extent of full blown committing suicide. So I thank my parents for being obedient and sticking it out and homeschooling me through that. And as far as like being social, I don't think there was any like I wouldn't have been any more social going to public school. If anything, that might have made it worse, just because I was already terrified of people. Yeah. In general, and so I don't think homeschooling helped that or hindered that. I will say though, I did go play. I played sports all throughout high school. Sports. I really terribly played baseball because I'm very clumsy and unathletic. If you know me, you know that that's very true. But I was just around good Christian guys, and it's actually like the reason I know Jesus is because there's a guy on that team that was kind. He got saved and then loved on me. But I forgot the question. Odin, you okay?
Yeah, there's a TV on the wall.
But yeah, I would say like I don't know that honestly necessarily being homeschooled, private school, co-op, public school, like whatever. Like Collin's one of the most socialized social people I know, and he was homeschooled.
Yes, I agree.
I'm a herd
and
animal.
I'll say my sister is also like geared towards being introverted. And she went to private school for all of high school. So I don't think really being public school or homeschooled has much to do with it. It's all about like the culture of your family, like what you struggle with, like anxiety and depression does not help being social. And so it depends on your struggles, your family, your parents, like just the way you're wired as a person. Y'all good over there?
1,000,000%.
So
Homeschoolers love to talk about that nature versus nurture thing. It's like, so there's an argument that like how you're raised is not becoming of you. Who you are when you were born is who you like. What is becoming of you? So your nature when you were born versus the nurture, the things your parents instilled into you. So like God inherently murdered bad.
Those things for sure. I think your circumstances definitely will shape you in some way, shape, or form, but you can always choose to not be a product of your circumstances.
I feel like what you were saying, J-FANN, about like the like schooling not really. I don't like super think that social skills like or like picking up on social cues, like what people assume as like the stereotype of homeschoolers. Like I really don't think it comes from because you were homeschooled or not. Like I think like you were saying, like I would have essentially been the way that I am whether I was homeschooled or public school. I probably would have been worse off in public school because I would have, like, I learned who I was because I have a really healthy family, praise God. And I got to spend a lot of time with them because I was homeschooled. So, like, I don't think it had anything to do with the fact that I was homeschooled or public schooled because I went through both and I was like, I mean, they both have their ups and downs, but I feel like I learned who I was and that's what helped me socially. And I would give that credit, well, to God, but also to my parents. And so like some of it came from being homeschooled, but also like,
I will say, I think the thing that people like most say about like, oh, you're a homeschooler, I just say like the way that you carry yourself and then the way that you dress is there's very obvious most of the time when it comes to being homeschooled, like a sheltering, because a lot of the like being in public school and private school and around other kids is like, I wore jean shorts past my knees and giant t-shirts. And so that's obviously like that boy homeschooled. But a lot of that is like, you know, you don't really like things like mannerisms, how to interact with kids. Doesn't like, being in public school can help that. Absolutely. But you still have like the, you know, I guess not to say this derogatory, but the more oddball people or they really introverted, and all that inevitably is a choice. Like if I wanted to, I could have looked around and figured out like how to dress to fit the cultural norm a little bit better. Sure. If I wasn't, you know, scared of people or super introverted at that time. But I think that's why most people are like, oh, they're homeschooled, is one, like how they dress and like not really knowing social cues, which I didn't learn that until like I really, like Gabby said, I didn't learn that until I got saved and I stopped looking at myself and started looking one at Jesus and then like at other people.
Exactly. And it's another thing of like, you're not feeling forced to dress a certain way because you're going to public school. You're like, oh, I'm not going to be bullied for the way that I dress. I get to be myself.
I still would have worn jorts and big t-shirts if I had gone to public school.
My man, can you please dress like John Cena again for me?
No.
Yeah, I almost wonder like how much of like the homeschool stereotype of like the jean shorts and baggy t-shirts are like, I mean, I wore like weird layers. But like, I wonder how much of that is less like, oh, you're weird, and more of like, oh, you're not actually in the school system. So you're not actually seeing as much of culture. So you're not actually as influenced by culture as like public school is.
Oh, yeah. Homeschool are influenced by culture. That's why they stick out. And so that's why like I'm wearing a corduroy jacket and blazers. You know, like how many people wear blazers?
Everyone
wears blazers. You know what I didn't wear? I wore like freaking flip-flops.
Hey, I used to be, I would run, like people would know when I was coming into the office to see my dad because they would literally be like, oh, we hear Gabby's flip-flops coming.
Yeah.
Like that's what I wore.
I will say one thing though about being homeschooled, like the whole like not being exposed to culture, is when I did become more exposed to culture and things like that, it did actually help me learn more about myself because I was like, yeah, everyone wears blazers, but I like know how I like to dress because I've been exposed to the variety. Outside of the homeschool bubble, I wore what my mom and dad bought me, or I wore my dad wears PFG fishing shirts and cargo shorts every single day.
Let's go.
And if you know my dad, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. But that's not like stylish or anything like that. But I know that like my dad doesn't care about that stuff. Yeah, I do care about like what I dress and stuff like that. And a lot of homeschoolers just don't know that. Like they just don't know. Yeah, they haven't been given variety, so they don't really know what they like. They just like what they have been given.
Yeah, I feel like I learned a lot more. Like I feel like the confidence in what I actually liked or chose was settled like when I went to public school. Like all like the identity stuff that I had learned, even like what you see outwardly of identity, like how we dress and how we talk and how we interact with people, like all of that like was like forged in homeschooling. But like when I went into public school, that was when I was like, oh no, I still would choose this I just now know what the other options are, or
Sure.
oh, there's other options, and I actually kind of like how you're dressing or whatever, and you just see more options. But I still think, yeah, most of like what I wore growing up and stuff like that, it's just what my parents bought me. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, I'm choosing to dress like this. It's, oh, sweet, my mom bought me new jeans, and that's what I'm gonna wear. Like
I don't know. You don't know any better.
I mean, I was 8. Like
Yeah.
There's no question. I don't remember.
Yeah. Where are we at now?
We went. Oh,
No, here's one off the top of my head. What was something that everyone else did, or anytime you'd go to church or something that people would always be talking about? Did you ever really feel left out? Besides drugs, like
I was gonna say, what church you going to, Gabbers?
when was there not a time when homeschoolers felt left out?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
we were shamed. Like a lot of homeschoolers were shamed for being homeschooled. That makes you feel left out.
Yeah.
Personally, like my parents, like everybody had their ears pierced. I knew babies that had their ears pierced and I didn't, and I was like, dang, I am so like I'm deathly homeschooled. And I thought my parents finally let me get it done, but it was after girls were like saying, "Oh, you don't have your ears pierced? That's so weird. And you're homeschooled? Gross." Like a lot of things like that, or even just like not getting to go to like football games or being in regular sports, not being like not going on a bus to go to school. Like there were many things that feeling left out on, especially even like going into my high school life. I was like, I don't get to have a homecoming. I don't get to have a prom. I don't get to go to high school football games. Like those were the many things that I spent countless nights crying over, which in the grand scheme of all things, like it's not that important. But when you're in high school, it does seem like it's important. And those are the many things that homeschoolers feel like left out about.
Oh no, I guess I'm just broken. Jeremiah, J-FANN, I don't know if you guys have similar experiences. Like maybe it's just because I'm a dude, but I never felt left out of anything. Like my school did, I was in Paces since I was like 7, and we did like, Pioneer Day, but like it was weird because we were all homeschooled, and we did like field trips, but it was weird because we were all homeschooled, and like we did cotillion because we didn't want to just do regular prom. We had to do a French bar mitzvah basically, but
there were parents there. It wasn't actually like
Going
prom
crazy.
though.
it wasn't actually like prom. It was a fancy dinner where we paid way too much money to a school we already paid money to go dance. But the point is, I would never felt left out of anything. Like I played football because I thought it looked fun to hit other people and I needed an outlet. And so like,
Fair.
I was totally cool just chilling and doing my own thing. Like that's what I was thinking about during the outfit thing. Is like, even after I saw how other people dressed and I realized I dressed like Gumby, I didn't really care because it was like, whatever. Clothes are clothes. As long as I dress in clean clothes, that's what matters.
I know, right?
I feel the same though. Like I didn't really feel like I missed out on much. Like
Yeah, you got your own
because I mean, like there are things that I didn't take part in growing up and that I didn't get to experience, but like I never desired those things anyways. Like I don't know. I think the way that my parents raised us, just like, I mean, I'm like, even talking about it, I'm like, wow, I'm so blessed. Like, I just never felt like there were things I missed out on, really. That I wanted. I would say like the one thing was I was like, you guys make friends at school and you get to see your friends every day. I have to wait for Sundays and Wednesdays to roll around. So that was the one thing where I was like, oh, you get to see like other people every day. But I also just learned how to be like best friends with my siblings. So even once I figured that out, I was like, I mean, I'm not alone. I'm not like being whatever. But
I agree
I didn't
a lot.
really feel like I missed out.
Yeah, I agree with the part about you having siblings, so you never felt like alone. Like it was the same thing with us. I mean, I'm freaking one of 6.
And y'all have more. So.
Yeah. So like I never felt like it's weird because like I enjoyed like being with my siblings, but then even whenever I would go out places, like I wasn't compelled to make friends because like so Joseph, he's only 13 months younger than me. We were in the same grade. I mean, we just rolled together. So it wasn't, we were never compelled to like make friends with people, which frankly hurt me in the long run. It hurt Joseph, I think, too, in the long run. Actually, that's the first time I'm ever saying that out loud, I think. Yeah. We weren't compelled to be friends with people so that like we could be like, like that's funny. And we didn't, you're not compelled to talk to anybody. But yeah, on the only times that I like ever felt alone not alone, like felt out was like, I mean, there's certain shows we weren't allowed to watch. Like my parents didn't let us watch SpongeBob. Like, so
Hold on.
Amen.
I was allowed to watch that. Throwing that in real quick.
And it shows.
But of like there's certain I don't know. Like I couldn't tell you like what music was popular. Like my mom is literally KSBJ all the time. I think
shoot me in the freaking foot, bro.
dude.
Oh, I don't like KSVJ. It has a great purpose. So many people are touched by it, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. I will never really listen to KSBJ for the rest of my days.
I think one of the first like secular
Burnt
songs
out on
that
it,
I
bro.
remember playing or not playing, hearing was like Justin Bieber's Baby or Dynamite by
Tayo Cruz.
Yeah. Those are literally like some of the first like secular songs that I remember ever hearing. I was like, I like this. I was like,
We just listened to BBS.
yeah,
Nice.
Kids Bop.
Kids Bop.
Oh,
That's
gosh.
what my parents bought me like so many Kids Bop CDs. I feel like my parents were the more like secular side of
This is
homeschool
deja
parents.
vu.
Really?
And I think it is
It said-
because I was
it
an
said
only
deja
child,
vu.
so they felt really guilty.
Yeah.
But yeah, of like stuff like that like I couldn't tell you other popular songs or really like I'm to this day I've never watched Shrek. Like there's stuff like that.
Bro,
that
we're
it's like,
changing that. We're
Yeah.
having a Shrek watch party
I know
next
there-
Sunday.
So there's stuff like that it's like, oh, like
It's not good.
Shrek is great, right?
Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I've heard that it's funny.
It's
I've
hilarious.
never watched it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
See, this is why I say like I feel like my parents were good. I wasn't.
I don't think it was like for a reason. I didn't watch it. It just never happened.
It's hilarious.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that for me that looking back, I'm like,
Yeah.
did I like really miss out on a whole lot? Maybe not. Did I ever go to homecoming prom? Nope. Frankly, I was just like,
I could
It's not
have
worth it.
like the baseball team I played for was like a huge homeschool organization. They had a massive football team, and then the baseball team is like huge now. And it started when I was a freshman, but they did homecomings and proms and things like that. And I was like, again, I was terrified of people, and I'm like, bro, no shot. I'm asking a girl to go to this.
Ask a dude.
No. And then
Ask a man.
and then like when just because I was shy, I didn't get like invited to a lot of things until
Yeah.
I became really like I didn't become like social until after I got saved and got delivered or to be like set free from being terrified of people.
yeah.
And but yeah, I don't think I missed out on it. Honestly, like I'm glad that I was home because I just learned like a lot. Like
Yeah.
my dad had me working when I was like
Yeah.
10, 11, 12,
Same.
13. Like I was making
like work.
Yeah,
Like,
not
yeah,
like
no.
not like, hey, do your chores. No, like
No, it
bro,
was like, hey.
I was in a warehouse building solvent recycling machines
Yep.
3 days a week with him and
Yeah,
making
bro.
like $900 a month at like 14 years old.
We
And so
can
stuff like
think.
that, like learning work ethic and just learning how to do things.
Yeah.
Like I don't know a lot of other people my age that know how to drive a trailer or fix a dishwasher or things like that. And so
Mhm.
like that kind of thing, like
do their
yeah,
laundry.
I really
I'm just kidding.
what?
Do their laundry.
Yeah.
Oh no, like that.
Yeah. I
Oh, yeah.
also started doing my own laundry because an item of clothing would so disappear so often. I said, Mom, I love you, but you're not doing my laundry anymore.
Yeah. No.
Literally.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this anymore. I'm gonna wear 3 outfits a day.
Yeah. For a homeschooler who didn't really go anywhere, I had like 4 outfit changes a day. And my mom's like, where are you going? It's like my third High School Musical t-shirt I had. She
Dude.
literally, I wore this like High School Musical t-shirt so much. She was like, you need to stop wearing that. People are going to think that's the only shirt you own. It was like, it was really bad, but yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't think I missed out on anything because like I had the options to go to whatever or do whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was. Yeah, I wouldn't say like as far as conversations that kids were having, I was like, yeah, I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Yeah. No, I can't tell
But
you
as
how
far
many
as like
times.
cultural things.
Oh,
was
I
like, yeah,
can't
don't
tell you
know,
how
bro.
many times we walk up on, even like at church, and I'd be like, yeah, I got no clue what y'all are talking about.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
But,
Maybe it's my unabashedness from being homeschooled, but anytime people were in those conversations, I would just take control one way or another. I'd be like, hey, you guys are talking about this? That's dumb. What about this? And then I drop the useless homeschooler knowledge of like, oh,
Yeah.
did you know George Washington brushed his teeth with his own urine for 4 years? Like just something dumb.
I don't know.
And
that
they're
I
like,
believe
what?
that. I
And
don't
then
know
you're
that I
good.
believe
Yeah.
that.
You tell them something really just random.
Just stupid, but
Yeah.
factual. Yeah.
trying to think what other stuff being homeschooled.
Who was your disciplinary figure?
My dad.
Like,
Oh.
did
My
your dad
dad,
was your
for
dad the
sure.
principal?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
always
yeah.
bad because it's like
100%.
I knew when he came home from work, mom had already reported to him what I had done. And I
right.
was like, dang, I hear that door unlocking. I'm like, this is it.
It's the end of my.
This is it. I'll see you guys in the next life. Yeah.
Bro,
See y'all having them out.
oh yeah, no. Well, it was with my mom. It was like, no, you get disciplined, and then when Dad got home,
So there were like two levels.
Oh,
you,
yeah.
had,
the
you had
principle.
mom's version,
You had
and
mom,
then
yeah.
when Dad came home, that's
If-
when it really went down.
if you got in trouble with Dad, well,
Really?
then it
Were
wasn't-
you?
Yeah.
If I got in trouble with my mom, I'd be like, Mom, please. I can't. I don't want to do it.
Don't tell him. I
Oh
swear.
no, that's yeah. No,
Yeah.
that legit. That was.
I would constantly hit my mom with, can we not tell Dad? And she's like, yeah, I won't. And then like he gets home, he's like, so your mom texted me 2 minutes before she said that.
She said,
Oh,
"Psych."
Dirty.
Well, she did it. She knew I was going to ask, and so she would always do it before. And so to this day, she tells me she never lied to me about it because she would text him like immediately and then wait for me to ask.
Yeah.
He's a snake.
Yeah, my dad was a disciplinarian, but I only remember he had a I don't know. It was a piece of wood. It was a freaking bro. It was
Oh,
a, it
not
was
the
a
wood.
paddle.
Oh yeah.
It was
no.
a freaking
I
like
got a story
basic.
for that one.
It was. I think it was legitimately like a 1x6 that he had cut a handle into. And it was like 2 feet long.
I got whooped.
Smack.
I zoned out. My bad.
Yes. Which I'm like, it was. I'm like, yeah, bro. Like I would have backhanded me a couple times,
I was freaking
but I only
loser.
got spanked like I could count on one hand how many times I got spanked because I was generally like a pretty good kid.
Oh, bro.
And part of being homeschooled is like I never did anything. Like I was like
Mhm.
I knew I literally a big part of it was I watched my older brothers both go through public school and I was like, yeah, y'all are stupid. I'm not doing any of that.
Y'all are
That's-
And so I just didn't do anything bad. Like the things I would get spanked for would be like having a really bad fight with my little sister, or lying about homework, or lying about I was a big gamer, but I wasn't allowed to play video games Monday through Thursday, only on the weekend and Friday after my school was done. So I'd like sneak play video games when my mom wasn't home, and so I get
Mhm.
spanked for that. But
Oh yeah, bro.
yeah, my dad for sure was a disciplinarian.
That's what I was gonna
The
ask because I remember
disciplinarian.
John LaChapelle talking about it on Thursday, where it's like, I could tell none of these kids get whooped anymore. They just
Yeah,
get sent
bro,
up to their
for
room with their
real.
Nintendo
Yeah, bro.
Switches.
For
I was gonna
real.
ask, like, did your parents did they
Oh,
whoop you?
yeah.
Because
Oh,
like
Oh yeah.
I hear
Thank
kids
God they
nowadays
did.
are like,
Good night.
I'm like, you didn't get spanked?
Oh,
like-
I was a bad kid. I got spanked so much, man.
You had a spanked kid energy, and I said I
Oh,
respect it.
yeah.
And there
no.
were different levels too. Like you
Yep.
said with a board, but like my parents are like, you can either keep your pants on or you're dropping trowel.
Oh my god.
My dad.
It would made it 10 times worse, but my mom
Oh
would be
yeah,
like,
no, for
might
sure.
be like, dude,
One thing I will say though about like the whole since we're talking about spanking and all that, like one, it's not child abuse.
No.
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 It's
And
flopping. It's discipline.
and yeah, it's discipline. Discipline and punishment are not the same thing. God
Correct.
disciplines.
At
He
a
does not
certain age,
punish.
it's a little weird, but like,
Yes,
it's
I
not,
agree.
it's
Yeah,
not-
if you're like
My
32
spanking
and your parents
stopped.
are
The
yeah.
last time I think I got spanked, I was 13.
Oh, that's a little.
But I
old,
was
J-FANN.
like, it was because one, I was not like a big kid. Like I wasn't. Bro, I'm 5'7" now. I was like 4'6" probably.
Yeah, but at that point, your dad just
But-
fights you.
No, but it was like a like I had been like really mean to my sister
Oh yeah.
and my mom in the same day. And my dad
Yeah,
was like,
that's not-
that's my
that's-
daughter and my wife.
Yeah, that's not a
And
good combo.
but my dad also though, one thing I do really respect about him, because I haven't thought about it until today actually, was every time he spanked us, he always cried. Because he was
Mhm.
like, I don't want to cause you pain, but if there's no discipline for you doing something wrong, then you're gonna
Yeah.
keep doing it wrong.
Mhm.
Or you're gonna keep doing the wrong thing. And so I always respect him for that. And I always knew like, yeah, he's not. Like even people now, like it's taboo if you say that like you were spanked as a kid. And I'm like,
yeah.
no,
It's
my
like,
dad is,
no.
yeah.
My
Like,
dad spanked
yeah.
me one time, and that's all it took.
My mom always did. She did not actually
Oh.
like my mom did not want my dad to spank.
My mom, she would let me have it.
Tracy was ready.
Oh no, she knew with me that if I didn't get it, I wasn't listening. Yeah, no. I got
some kids
I
are
got
like that.
ping pong paddle.
Oh dang.
What else?
We had a wooden spatula.
Yeah, spatula. I broke.
Bro,
Oh,
I
yeah.
take bare hand
Bare
over
hand.
freaking 1x6.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got
Oh,
a
my Lord.
pizza paddle snapped on my rear end.
Dude.
Yeah, like
What's a
I
Pizza
like.
paddle.
Oh no, it was like a big like pizza paddle
Oh
that
my
used to get the
gosh.
pizza out of the oven. I got it broke on my backside.
Those things are
Yep.
thick, bro.
Yeah,
How
bro.
did you? You're a thick dude, though. So
Oh my god!
it just clicked in my brain. Okay, let's go.
Did y'all ever have groundings? Did y'all get
Yeah,
grounded?
dude. I've been grounded
Yeah.
twice.
We got like
Nice.
yeah, go
Sit on the
Go sit on the stairs.
We would have
Uh,
killed for a 2-story house.
Go shit on your stairs.
We didn't get stairs.
Yeah. What was the you
We-
get like privileges taken away?
Yeah.
We didn't get like, so we got spanked like younger on, or we called them SWATs. We had like the SWATs. It was just
I've heard of SWATs,
it was a wooden ruler. It's a spanking, just not a hand. But like, so we got that, but not like super often. I don't think I got that very often, but like we got go stand in the corner. Really, what my mom did for us was she was just like, you need time to cool down. But all of us kind of would punish ourselves. Like, I'm really hard on myself. My older brother really hard on himself. And so like the main thing that I did growing up that like I needed to be punished for was I would lie about like sneaking candy. Like that was my big,
Oh my
big,
gosh.
like I would sneak candy and then I'd say, no, I didn't do it. And so my mom was just like, well, I don't want to just keep punishing you. Like, I want you to stop lying. And so she would tell me,
Yeah.
like, instead of like spanking me every time I did that, she would be like, hey, if you take it, come tell me. And if you tell me, I won't punish you. And even still, I was like, well, I'm not telling you. So it was very much, it wasn't
candy.
necessarily like gentle parenting versus like spanking. It was just like, hey, how can we actually get the outcome that we want?
Correct.
And so we
Yeah.
kind of had all like, we had spankings, we had go to your room, we had
Yep.
go stand in a corner, we had, hey, hug your sibling, like talk it out,
Yep.
you know, all the things.
My thing is, I would always try to find ways to entertain myself while I was in like timeout, because that's what my parents used to do. You know those little door things that's like it's a door stopper. It goes.
pointing, the
Yeah,
door
it goes,
stopper.
Yeah, my mom had to remove all of them from the house because where she would put me for timeout, I'd play with it the whole time,
my
and she'd have to
God.
yell from the other room, "Brady, shut up! Like, sit still."
I,
So she had to remove all of them. She had to unscrew them from the wall.
I only
Um,
recently just got taller than my dad, but my entire childhood he weighed over 280 pounds and was 6'7" or 6'8", and until I was 6, his hand was the size of my body. And so he only
Oh
had
my
to spank me one time, and he spanked me, and it felt like I got hit by a tsunami. Like it didn't even hurt. It was just such overwhelming force. And I turned around and I was like, "Listen, Dad, I got you. Like never again." My
I'll
mom
ch-
hit
I'll
me
change
once,
my
and then I
life.
laughed, and then he came home and hit me, and I was like, "Okay, never again. My bad."
I also
Ay,
feel
ay,
bad because
ay.
people talk about being grounded all the time, and maybe it's because I'm an only, but I've never been grounded, or maybe I'm just that good. I don't know.
It's
I
definitely
had
not
nothing
that.
to be grounded from. Like we went to church
Yeah,
in the park.
Seriously,
like,
yeah.
And same with privileges being removed. Like
Yeah, it was like
we
couldn't
had
watch
like
TV.
we had like 20 minutes of screen time a day. And like
Dang.
maybe 30. And like if you
Wow.
did certain things, like you could earn more screen time. But like we've just played outside. So there was nothing really to be
Yeah.
grounded
You
from.
had side quests
Or,
as
like,
a child.
Whatever.
It's hard.
Oh my
You'd
God.
be like, "Don't hang out with your friends." It's like, what?
Oh yeah,
It's
no.
like, what are
yeah.
you gonna tell me not to go to?
Yeah, I was told I
Church?
wasn't allowed to go outside and thought I was going to be sick. And I just pressed a button. And then I felt bad because I couldn't go outside, but like there was nothing for me to do outside.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the string thing. My mother banned me from touching an invisible string one time. She likes to tell the story all the time. My brother and I were fighting over an invisible piece of string. And so then she cut it in half and then pulled the car over and said the whole car was in timeout. And we cried for 27 minutes.
Wow.
Why are you guys laughing so much at
Alright.
that?
All right.
Because it's a Collin story.
Is it time
It's
to
a
wrap
Collin
up?
story.
Next
Is it
question.
time to wrap
All right.
up?
Here's another one.
I feel like it might be time to wrap up.
You think it might be time to wrap
I got to
up?
bounce by 4:15, so
That's
I have
good.
time for like one or more
We've
questions.
we've
But
just been going for an hour and a half. I'm just thinking like
Yeah, no, right.
it's just gonna be a long podcast.
It's up to you, Papa Torvey.
yeah, no.
Papa Torv.
You do a wrap
I think
up.
would you want like one more
Padre.
question?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do.
You want to spit a verse?
Trying to think. What would you say? Trying to think of a good question. Ooh, here's one, and then another one. Like a yes or no. Would you homeschool your kids?
Yeah.
So
The sins of my father are not the sins of his son. I would 100% homeschool my
You
kids.
homeschool your kids?
Yeah, I think half and half. I don't think it's like flat yes, I'd homeschool them, or flat no, I'd homeschool them. I do think it depends on the kid,
Yeah.
and what God wants you to do. But I personally really like the idea of homeschooling my kids through junior high, and then like sending them out as like Holy Spirit wrecking balls into their high schools is my personal preference. My guys, well, my sons, yeah. My girls, no. I'm never sending my girls to public school.
Yeah.
I've heard too many horror stories and have just heard of too many wicked things happening. And so, like, yeah, I'm not going to risk putting my daughters in an environment where something horrible could happen to them.
Yep.
So my boys, yeah, they can if they want to.
Be a man. Be a man.
I would say like preference, yeah. Oh,
Probably.
Asa has something to say.
I would love to homeschool my kids, Lord willing. Like I'd love to. Yeah. So that would be my preference. But I think especially like just aside from my preference, just praying about it and really like seeing what the Lord wants me to do. But I think that would be like best case scenario to homeschool my kids. So yeah.
I guess it's really what my partner wants.
I would
So I'm not gonna be
say,
home.
I don't know if it's just because I had like a really bad experience, but I would personally say no. I mean,
Really?
I would say like similar to J-FANN, like maybe doing like up to junior high or like only homeschooling girls. But I don't think I wouldn't say because I don't have a public school experience, so I don't know how that would have turned out, but I did not have
Sure.
the best mental health experience as a homeschooler.
Sure.
But it's definitely not like a flat no. Like I would be definitely open to the change and being like praying about it and saying if I feel called to it, like definitely homeschooling.
Mm.
But personally for me, it just didn't turn out exactly the way I thought it would.
I've always wanted to homeschool my kids. I think I had such a good experience. So yes, but I also think that I'm just assuming the lifestyle the Lord will have me live will just kind of require that I homeschool my kids. Like if I want to like travel for mission work or any ministry type of stuff, I just think like the relationship that I have with my parents because of being homeschooled, I think is kind of priceless. And so I want to be able to do that with my kids. But I also don't know like what my life will look like as a parent. But I would agree with J-FANN. I've always kind of thought of doing it up through junior high and then sending them into high school as missionaries to their high schools, because I look back now and I'm like, oh, I wish I had known. Like I really like wasn't solidified in my identity probably until like after high school. But if I had known like before high school that I can make a change in my school, like for the kingdom, like I would have I would have thrived in high school in like a different way.
Absolutely.
Like I was teacher's pet, but like I didn't like do much for the kingdom. And so I would love to homeschool my kids absolutely through junior high and then just seek the Lord after that. Like, hey, do you want me to send my kids to public high school? Because I think that there's so many people that you interact with every single day in public high school that you don't have that chance to minister to that many people any other time in life except for high school. So, but definitely homeschooling my kids.
That is true. For me, I'd probably say yes. I'm probably in the same boat as J-FANN of like, if I were to have kids, I mean, ideally, again, it's like, hopefully you would have prepared them enough to where eventually, again, you want them to go out. You don't want to be like, what is it? Where does it talk about? Psalms or Proverbs where
your kids are like arrows.
Arrows in
it's
quiver.
Psalms. It's Psalms. I don't remember which one, but
of
it's
like,
a Psalm.
and so like the idea of an arrow is that it goes out. It doesn't sit in your quiver. And I'd say even like for my life, I've been like, I wouldn't say I've been like shot out until I was probably, after high school, which is fine.
Sure.
I think that was for a reason, but
yeah, me too.
I would probably say, I'd probably homeschool my kids. Maybe in high school, maybe I'd send my kids off, but then again, like you might save them from a lot of crap.
Yeah, like,
But so per child too, like you said.
Yeah,
like each kid is so different.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some like 14-year-olds that are super well adjusted and have an incredible relationship with the Lord.
Yeah.
And there are some 14-year-olds who do not.
Yeah.
And it would be detrimental to send them to public school. So
correct.
Every single one of my siblings have had a different like through high school schooling journey. Like my older brother only did 1 year of public school. I did 2. My younger sister has so far done all. And so it's just so different per child. Yeah. Like, I think we think that we have to all go through the same system, but I just think that each kid will be different.
And I think like the best probably answer to that question is you're stewards of your kids.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so it's up to you to best steward your child.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's up to You can't really give a super blatant yes or no to homeschool or public school or private school or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like you're first and foremost answering to God and a steward of everything He puts in your hands. You're
Correct.
a steward of your kids.
Yeah.
So it's up to you ultimately of how good of a steward you will be of what God gives you.
Correct.
So yeah, I think that's the best way that you can kind of answer that one. I think Holy Spirit is like, yeah, I'm a steward of my kids. How can I best steward this child?
Yeah.
And I think personally, for me, my parents were good stewards of me, particularly.
Mm-hmm.
So
No.
yeah.
And even in that question, I laughed even myself. I'm like, yeah, but then like you have to find like as a guy, you have to find a spouse who's willing to do that, because then that automatically means that your wife will stay at home with the kids.
Yep.
And for a lot of people, it's like no. So that's already.
If I was-
Or you have to be okay with being a stay-at-home dad.
I was gonna say, if I'm staying home,
Yeah.
dad,
Educate your
I'm
children.
schooling my kid. And
I don't think it's necessarily like a no, but it's also like, do you have the financial ability to do so? Because a lot
Correct.
of
Yeah.
women,
Yeah.
like most women, want to be stay-at-home moms. It's just they
Yeah.
don't have the financial ability to do so.
That's a hot button thing
Yeah.
right there.
And then
Yeah.
some moms really don't want to be stay-at-home moms. Or
Some don't. Yeah.
True.
I mean, if you're gonna have a kid, you would want to stay home with it. That's just personal opinion.
Yeah.
You're gonna birth it out of and carry it for 9 months,
And
like,
then you're just gonna hand it off to
and she's like,
someone else. to
here's
raise
the
your kid.
daycare. Like, I get it if you can't because of like
Yeah.
financial
Sure.
situations, but oh my gosh.
There are though, like, so I'm a nanny, so I've watched multiple, like, and a babysitter. So like I've watched like so many families, and I just have seen a lot of like, I mean, yes, you birthed that child and you love that child, but there also is like, there are some women who are like, I love being a mom, but I also, there's other things that I want to do right now and that I feel the Lord calling me to. So I think there's such a, so yes, as a
There's an
man, you do
in-between,
have to, it does kind of depend on what your wife wants. And as a woman, it also depends on like what your husband wants as well, but probably a little bit less
Yeah.
than
give
it
and
does
take. Yeah.
on y'all's
Yeah.
ends.
Well, as a guy,
I mean,
you can
depending
think,
on who's going to be doing the schooling.
Oh, correct. And I think like, I mean, even as a guy, and even like what my dad did with me, and same thing with your dad, like as a guy, you learned how to work. Like, I mean, there was one summer where like I had to work for my dad, and I was like, I mean, I was probably in middle school, but like we had to like go outside and sweat. And my dad owns a landscaping company. So it's like, it's not like, oh yeah, come sit in the office and like do whatever. It was like, no, you're outside, you're sweating. So like you gotta struggle, you gotta suffer. So I think it's for men. I think you have to learn that.
Yeah, I think it's
important
good. Like you hate
to
it
teach that.
Hate it as a kid, but I look back now and I'm like,
Made me smarter.
yeah, for real. I'm like, yeah, dang, like I know how to work, and most of my generation doesn't. You know,
No,
Period.
for real.
and unfortunately, maybe not unfortunately, but like work is just a part of life.
Yeah.
And like you don't have the luxury to not work. And so if you can learn how to work well and have a good work ethic, then you'll be successful. I mean,
Find
that's-
something that you love doing,
And that's
and
yeah,
be
that's
really good at
biblical.
it.
Yeah,
That
I feel
literally
like
is
that's the
biblical,
biggest
too.
thing I learned from homeschooling too is
Yeah.
how to learn and how to like have a work ethic. So like I
Yeah.
love like getting things done.
Yeah.
And I love learning new things, and I know how to because I was homeschooled. And so that's why I would want to homeschool my kids too. Like, I mean, literally like all the questions we talked about, like it's like you just learn how to learn and you learn how to have a work ethic. Yeah, lots of life skills. So yeah.
So that final question. So what would you say your biggest takeaway is, thing you're most grateful for being homeschooled, or things that you learned? So you said it's work ethic and learning. Brady?
I just feel like I got to experience a lot more than a public schooler would.
Mm.
A lot more traveling, field trips, things like that. Just being like able to go to a lot of national parks on days that were like supposed to be school days.
Yes.
Or like getting
Yeah.
to spend more
A lot of
time
free
with my family that's like
yeah.
out of town. Like my grandma lives 2 hours away. Me and my mom could just drop everything on a Monday and be like, let's go visit my grandma.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
you don't have that much time left with your family,
That is true.
especially in the world. You never know when they're going to go, and being able to have that time and
Yeah.
more leniency in my schedule,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm just forever grateful for that.
That's good.
I would say like what Brady was saying, like having that flexibility of traveling was so cool. And even like in your schooling, like if you were able to work ahead on a certain subject, you can work ahead, or if you needed to stay behind, you can do that.
Yeah.
Although overall, I would say biggest takeaway was work ethic. Like my parents were huge on that in teaching me and my brother to just like, nothing is really given to you. You have to really work for it. So that was just something that they really made like a big part of our lives. So, I mean, even I think my dad especially, he was like, yeah, like nothing will be given to you. You have to work for it. So that's been like my mindset, like since, I don't know, I can't really remember. It's been like, it's just a long time, as early as I can remember, like have work ethic, learn to be like independent and just work for what you have. Cause nothing comes without it. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I probably would just say like the opportunity and the freedom and being a homeschooler. Like, I learned how to work. I learned how to do like a lot of different things. But I think I would say the most valuable though is learning how to think. Learning how to think for myself.
So good.
Because a lot of homeschooling actually kind of is like teaching yourself.
It is.
Yes.
And figuring out on your own. And what I know about public school, because like we all have public school friends, like you're the lesser if you're homeschooled.
Right.
And hearing about like different things about public school, really the only great thing about public school is sports.
Yeah.
If we're being honest.
That-
The school side of public school is like you learn how to memorize a fact and then recite that fact. And so I would say the most valuable thing about being homeschooled is just learning how to think for myself and figure things out.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's
Instead of
very
just
true.
like, this person did this at this time. This is how a plant makes food, or how a plant, this is the process of photosynthesis.
Useless.
Yeah, bro, I don't even know that. I don't.
yeah, no one.
I think homeschooling taught me very early that my parents were just people. Because I think as a kid, you're like, oh, my dad's immortal. But like very quickly, I was like, I mean, obviously my father, God, is immortal. Sorry. But like my dad, my earthly dad, mi padre, like, dude has problems. And my mama got problems. And they were open about it. And so that for me made me feel like I wasn't alone.
Wow.
Because like, I'm depressed and I'm trying to deal with this, but I know that my parents have been through this too. Because a lot of my schooling was me doing it myself because something else would happen with my mom, or she'd have to take care of her mom. And my dad taught me how to Google stuff really early and how to learn stuff from that. And so I guess another thing I learned was seeking out knowledge that I needed. Like fixing computers and cars and stuff now is something I'm able to do fairly easily just because like, oh, I don't know how to fix that. Let me go spend an hour watching a tutorial and doing it. But yeah, I'd say that was probably my biggest takeaway, is just learning the humanity of my parents, and that further encouraging me of like, I understand my parents' humanity. I understand where they went wrong. It's my turn to not make that mistake.
Wow.
Is what I got, at least from the more time with your family, I guess. And don't build bombs.
Don't build bombs, bro.
Full circle.
Could if I needed to. Though.
I know a guy. So that's horrible. Well, thank y'all.
Always. Thanks.
Yeah, y'all did not have to do this.
Thanks, Daddy Tor.
If you made it this far in the episode, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it maybe got you a new perspective or you laughed. Either one is fantastic. I love y'all. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you enjoyed it, share, subscribe, rate the podcast. It really helps get it out to others. Peace. Love y'all.